Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Behind Closed Doors with Allie and Adri, except this is a solo episode from yours truly, Allie, and we are going to be talking about all things breakups. You guys can watch and listen if you go to our YouTube, BCD with Allie and Adri. Yeah, so I'm excited. Let's get into it. So I am going through a breakup. I am about a month and maybe a week out of it, or maybe even more. But I have passed the month mark and I am filming a breakup series. So you guys are on part 2, episode 2, which is going to be about the fact that they are not changing and they didn't change and they will not change and they never will change. And people don't change. Yeah, people don't change unless they want to, folks. You heard it straight from me and it fucking sucks. Yeah, so let's talk about it. I have been generally okay. I've been feeling better because the relationship had been emotionally draining me with the amount of effort I was putting into it and the work I was putting into it, and not feeling it in return definitely drains you. So I would say I'm generally okay because I'm not dealing with the stress of a relationship, but I'm still struggling with just letting somebody go and like grieving them, letting the person go. That definitely takes time, and I'm trying to be patient with myself. I'm always very into like, emotions and the healing process, the healing journey. And it's one thing to talk about the healing journey and to talk about emotions, but to actually let yourself feel them and go through them, it can be really, really difficult. And I've been going through it. I have been feeling all my feelings, but it's tough. It's definitely challenging. And there's a few things that I want to bring to this podcast that will help you if you are going through a heartbreak or you're still struggling to let someone go after a pretty long time. Yes, I'm only a month out of my breakup, but there are people in the past that I still work on letting go every day, which brings me to my first point, that letting go is a daily practice. It's not easy just to let someone go. You made space for them in your life. You literally made space in your body for them, your brain, your nervous system, and now they are gone. And now your body has to grieve the person. That is not easy. And you can't just numb away the pain because it's going to come right back and bite you in the ass. So you can be sad. And it's okay if you are sad. And it's okay if this person has been in your life for a very long time and you still are sad. Grieving has no time limit. And I hate the quote, which I have said it before to myself and probably on the podcast, that like time heals. I honestly hate the quote. And sometimes it works. Like there's certain things that you can say that it can work with, but I would say that time does not heal at all. Like depending on how you're using your time is what makes time in quotes heal. So like if I am numbing away my feelings and I'm just like, all right, time will heal, like it'll be 2 years from now, and if I just keep numbing away my feelings, everything's going to be fine. Like you're wrong. It's not going to be fine, and you're still going to be dealing with it, and it's still going to be hard for you. Time does not heal unless you take accountability for your healing and you do something about it, and you are productive in your healing, and you are trying, and you are letting feelings complete their cycle. You are letting yourself feel everything. You are doing all the things that you need to do and that are best for you in that moment to help you get through this breakup and through letting go of this person. Letting go is a daily practice, right? I meditate. So, oh my God, I've been getting into meditation. It's great. I use this app Open, and I was listening to this, I'm going to say her name wrong, but the Sabrina Kohar, I don't know, show. And she had somebody on it. I feel bad for literally not remembering their names, but she had a guest star on it. And the name of the episode was called How to Deal with Anxiety Through Meditation, or like dealing with anxiety through meditation. And the person has an app called Open, and I downloaded the app, and you could do like a free trial for a while. I'm going to end up paying for it. I really don't like paying for subscriptions and apps, but this is a meditation app that is so useful and so good. Like I've heard of different meditation apps, but this one like genuinely makes me want to meditate every day. And they're like little practices. The audio is great. The practices are amazing. It's really great. And I've been doing the 21-day nervous system reset. I don't know if it says reset, but 21 day nervous system reset. And it's been feeling so good. I'm on day 3 right now. And there's also like a heartbreak and healing one, which I just discovered this morning. So I'm going to be doing that one as well. But meditation is going to be your friend when you are letting somebody go, because not only can you consciously try to let someone go while you're meditating and let the energy go and let the breath go out of your lungs, you are also able to put that into your subconscious the more you're practicing that. And it is a wonderful feeling to let go of somebody and to let go of some of them every day in meditation. That's actually a lie. It's not a wonderful feeling. It is a wonderful thing you can do, but it definitely hurts sometimes and feels very, very heavy. So I want to also talk about what I've been doing during this breakup that is actually allowing myself to feel my feelings and sit in the discomfort, because sometimes we say that and nobody really knows how to actually do that. In our last podcast that we did about navigating the nervous system, climbing the nervous system ladder, that one was a really good one that you guys should all go back to, because literally in the right beginning, talk about the 3 phases of your nervous system. So the first state is the ventral state, and that's the state of safety. That's when you're regulated. That's when you can be connected with your body. You can connect with yourself. You can connect with other people. You could even connect with a higher power if that's something that you do. And then the second one is sympathetic. Sympathetic is when your body is staying safe through mobilization, and that's like by doing something, your body's allowing it to cope with the feelings. And then dorsal is like your complete shutdown of your feelings are so overwhelming, meaning your body is dysregulated, and in order to protect itself, that's when your body's like, okay, well, the tiger's going to get me anyways, so I need to make it as least painful as possible. Let's disassociate. Let's shut this down. This is too overwhelming for me. And let's just minimize this pain as much as possible, because this is really painful. And the reason why I bring this up again is because where you are in your nervous system is exactly how your thoughts are going to manifest. So if you're in dorsal phase, the thoughts that you're having are probably not great thoughts, but you have to understand that because your nervous system is in this phase, that's why your mind is telling you stories that are not true. It's telling you beliefs that are not true about yourself, about the other person. And the only way to get out of this is to climb this nervous system ladder of like, okay, let me find something that's going to make me feel better. Let me put on a hoodie. Let me go talk to a friend. Let me put cold water down my back in the shower. Let me even take a shower. Let me fix my posture or get out of bed. So there are a lot of different ways you could climb this nervous system ladder, and your body's just trying to find that safety. And then eventually you can bring yourself to that regulated, connecting with your body feeling. So for me, meditation's been working so well, because when I feel, whether it's anxiety or grief, or sometimes I don't even know what it is because I feel like I don't have access to it. My body's feeling it. I know my body's feeling it because I'm a little on edge, but I have no idea what it is because I don't have access to it. So what I do is I meditate to connect with my body. And if you're like, meditate, how do I meditate? Just breathe. Sit there and focus on your breath and try to connect to your body again. And that is where I then go into my stage where I think about, what does this feel like in my body? Where is it in my body? Pinpoint that and then follow it. What does it feel like if I stay with this? So yesterday I was having a day. The night before I had a breakdown, and it just kind of got triggered out of nowhere, and it sucked. Like, I was just bawling, crying, and it was really nice because my friends were sitting there with me, helping me, and I was able to talk about it with them and just feel comfortable letting everything out. It was really nice. And then the next day, the feeling still didn't like fully go away. I had a fine day, but I was not only tired because I didn't get enough sleep, but I was just tired because when I cry the night before and you have a breakdown, like, you're emotionally exhausted. Like, your brain is on overtime. So, and your body. So basically yesterday I had this moment where I just felt like this strong feeling of missing the person. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, am I really missing him, or am I missing the fantasy of him in that relationship? Like, him and us together. Like, was it really all that great? Answer is no. And it was funny because my TikTok, I was showing Haley, and it was so funny because I'm like literally scrolling, and each video is a person yelling at me. It's not even someone like, just let him go. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? Let go of that loser. And I was like, wait, why is this like healing me? So there was actually like some great stuff, and I wrote it down because I loved it. So this was a girl talking about like, do you really miss him? And then she goes into all these different things. So I want you guys to listen to this, and I hope you guys can relate because it helped me. Actually, I don't hope you can relate because he's actually kind of sucked to go through, but I'm saying if you went through this, I hope this helps you. Do you really miss him? Do you really miss the nights you had to open up your notes app and write a message you were going to send that was going to be dismissed anyway? Do you miss the times he turned everything into an argument? The times he was future faking you and making false promises when his words didn't align with his actions? Do you miss crying about somebody you were in a relationship with because they're incapable of how their actions and behaviors impact you? Do you miss them not taking accountability for their low effort, shitty behavior? Or do you miss the illusion that they showed you the first 3 months? You don't miss him. You miss being in a relationship and having a connection. There's a blockage. Let the illusion and fantasy go so you can create space for what is meant to be in your life. I was what was great in their relationship. Healing is not linear, and letting go is a daily practice. So I loved that video because I've been sitting with these feelings of like, I miss having like a boyfriend. I miss having like a person that can like hold me and like cuddle with me, and you know, I don't know, like a person that you could like do life with and like think about the future with and have plans with and all these things. And then I think about it and I'm like, the more and more I think about our relationship, a lot of the times that we were together had these feelings that came up where I felt alone when we were together, or I felt my feelings were too big for the other person and I felt even more alone with them, even if I just brought up a little thing. And then all of a sudden this little thing would feel so huge to me. And my therapist said something really good too. She was like, I was like, I don't know why I'm even like getting like so worked up over this, like internally, because I'm not usually like this. Like I'm very, like usually like little things I let go and they don't bother me, but like I don't know what it is. And now these little things were all compiling together. It was like you can only scratch so many times before it becomes a huge wound. And she was like, I don't think it's necessarily that this is just naturally a big deal to you, but it's that when you bring it up to your significant other, if they make you feel like they don't immediately validate you or they don't help you through the emotion or help you figure it out, and they're basically being like, okay, you're alone in this, that's what they're showing you, then it becomes bigger. Like the emotion and the thing that's pissing me off becomes this bigger thing that's consuming you. And I was like, that's exactly what it feels like, because normally I'm not like this, but these things just keep eating away at me again and again and again. Did I just get my bullet date? Okay. We just had a little intermission because I just got an email about requesting a bullet date, and that's like, it stands for Basic Officer Leadership Course, and it's like the school I have to go to after I commission in the Army. So I just submitted the form literally a minute after she sent it to me. Now I forgot what I was talking about again. Okay, so that's what I struggle with, is like, I felt like at times I was becoming so emotional that I was like, this is not normal for me as a person. And not being like, oh, because usually I numb my emotions out. No, it was like, I feel my emotions. So me constantly feeling very strong emotions of like sadness and feeling alone and feeling like not prioritized was so strong that I was like, this just doesn't seem normal for me. Why am I crying this much? Why am I feeling this depressed? Why am I bedridden because of my boyfriend? Like, this is not normal. Fights, normal. Conflict, normal. Sometimes crying because of the conflict, normal. But it was happening to a point where it wasn't like I saw anything physically changing. It was verbally, and then it was like verbally promise changes. And then that's what made it really, really difficult for me to understand, like, okay, not understand. It wasn't difficult for me to understand. It was difficult for me to come to terms with like, wow, there is no physical changes. Like there are no actions that are showing me otherwise. And this is becoming a really big problem. That was difficult. It was difficult to accept. And I even know my friend, she told me, she was like, what if, you told them they need to change something, or like you guys cannot continue? And she's like, what if this month goes by and they don't? Like, what are you going to do? And then I was like, I didn't have an answer. I was like, I don't know. Like, I was at a loss. I had already given the person so many chances to be there for me. And, this is where I don't like when people want to say, like, oh, if they wanted to, they would. Because I truly believe that this person loved me, cares about me, and never intentionally did any of these things to hurt me. I know that. Like, I genuinely know that. So when people want to say, like, oh, well, if he wanted to, he would. Like, I've said it. Like, if he wanted to, he would. I don't believe that, because I think people can't. Like, they don't have the tools and the means to do the things that they know they should do, so they don't. So it's not really like, oh, he didn't want to love me. He didn't want to be in a relationship with me. It was like he couldn't. Like, the person couldn't. And that's hard to understand as a person who loves very hard, who puts in effort, who works on their feelings and communicates very healthily. And it's really difficult for you to understand that someone just can't love you in the way you need to be loved, and sitting with that feeling and having really no understanding of it is difficult to move on, knowing that I will never find an understanding through what happened and what goes on in that person's mind, because they probably don't even understand it themselves. So I can't really sit here and be like, oh, fuck him, I hate him, blah, blah, blah. I just can't do that, because at the end of the day, it's not really about that person intentionally doing something to me. It's the fact that I got caught up in a connection with someone that couldn't love me in the way I needed to be loved. And that feeling to sit with just ruminates in a very uncomfortable way. And that's, I think, what happens when I break down, is like that part of me that's not only grieving them, but like that part of me that just can't make sense of it. And I can make sense of it in the like psychology way and the childhood trauma. Like, the quote me and my friend saw the other day, it was so good. And it was like, somebody who was raised off survival can't love somebody that was raised with love. Or it was something like that. I'm not saying you can't. Like, and if you're listening to this and you feel like you have a lot of trauma and you have a difficult time loving other people, I'm not saying you can't. But the quote was something like, you can't expect someone who's raised off of survival to just love you in the way that you need to be loved. Or if you didn't grow up with love and you've worked to figure out how to love yourself and communicate to a partner healthily and work through your challenges and attachment issues. If you have a person who can't do that, regardless of if you've been raised with it or not, they can't do it. And that's the reality. And it is heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. And there's no doubt about that. I think another thing that is hard to deal with is knowing that someone could do what they did to you and kind of just give up and run away from it. And I need you guys to understand, because I'm understanding this too, is like, it has nothing to do with you. Most of the time, a breakup has all to do with themselves and nothing to do with you. And even in this scenario where like I was trying, me leaving had everything to do with me. Him leaving had everything to do with him. Where it's like, maybe we're not leaving for the same reasons, but we need to leave each other for our own reasons. And again, that is a personal reflection of the person, not of the other person. If someone leaves, it doesn't mean that you're not enough for them, or that, you were too much for them. Maybe you being too much was just something that they never had space for. And there are people out there that have space for that personality that is quote unquote too much for some people, or the needs that are basic but feel too much for somebody that can't even meet their own needs. Don't let that get to you, because it's not true. Another thing, can we talk about the fact, okay, this is my favorite thing that always sticks in my head about attachment styles, is when Therapy Jeff on TikTok, he is so good. If you don't follow him, go follow him. But he talks about like attachment styles in such a funny way sometimes. He was like, secure attachment, sorry guys, but you don't sell. They don't put you in movies. They don't put you in songs. You don't sell. And it's true. When you're secure and you like someone in a very normal fucking way, there's no huge flying sparks of chemistry. And what I've learned is how that type of sparks and chemistry is not always a good thing. It could be a toxic thing. But these sparks of chemistry and these fairy tale movies, they're so fabricated for viewers to get hooked in on it. songs are not going to be saying about healthy fucking love. Like, even think about the songs where you're obsessed with a person. That's not normal to be like obsessed with a person. It happens, but that's not secure. That's not secure love. That is anxious attachment. Like, that is not the way you should be loved, or the way you should love, to have an infatuation with the person, an obsession with the person, or even just like those songs that are always singing about like I'll never let you go, like blah 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 blah. Like, my favorite thing my therapist said was like, unconditional love, I don't know if it was these exact words, but like, unconditional love is like, I will love you until it becomes a personal cost to me. And that shit that she said got me through so much. So much. Unconditional love is like this idea of like, I will love you no matter what. That's kind of crazy. That's a crazy statement. Like, I will love you no matter what. Yes, you will have a love for a person, but like, that just basically means like, you can walk all over me and I will still love you. And listen, I've been in that position. I still love people that have walked all over me. But I'm saying like in a way where like, you can love them in your mind, but I mean like, when I say love, I mean as a verb. Like, I will show you I'm loving you. I will stay in a relationship with you. I will stay connected to you. Love should not mean that nothing else matters and that you could do whatever the fuck you want to me and I will still love you. And maybe somebody can do whatever the fuck they want to you and you will still love them, but you still have to let them go. And letting go is an act of love in itself. You need to let go of people that you want to so-called make unconditional love promises to if it is becoming a personal cost to you. And that is just a fact. You can love someone so much and still know that I need to let them go. It's unfortunate, but that is an act of love in itself. Remember that. I want to talk about that feeling of what I was saying before is like do I miss them? Do I miss the idea of them? Do I miss the fantasy of them? Do I miss just having a boyfriend in general? I want you to think about this. So I saw something that Sex with Emily posted the other day. If you don't listen to her podcast, go watch it. Go follow her on Instagram. She has great shit. Sex with Emily posted a thing, and it was like, it may not be that you're horny. It may be that you've had a lack of intimacy or a lack of attention. So I want you to think of that and think about it in multiple ways, right? Do you ever like just kind of like, oh, I just want to have sex with somebody? Pause. What if it's not that you just want to have sex with someone and that you're horny, but it's actually because you are lacking intimacy and attention and connection, and that's what you want more of? You want more connection, you want more intimacy. It's not that you necessarily want a dick up in you. It may be that you want to feel intimate with a person again. So remind yourself that when you're thinking of your ex, whether it's sexually, emotionally, physically, whatever, you could just be lacking the intimacy part of the relationship. The fact that you can be intimate with another person, you can connect with another person. Because at the end of the day, we are meant to be on this earth to not just be alone here, but to have people. So you want to connect with others. Your body, the universe, it wants you to connect with others. You want to be with other people. No wonder why you miss this person. And it may not be them. It may be the idea of the intimacy aspect, the connection aspect, like what I was talking about before, the future aspect, having that like idea of stability. There's a lot to think about when you ruminate in your thoughts and you try to understand them. And to that, I will say, observe your thoughts, do not absorb them. Now, there are going to be times where your body starts to absorb those thoughts, but you have to remember, if you're in dorsal phase, the state of immobilization and your body is scared for its life, it's going to be telling you stories and thoughts that you don't want to hear. And what you do, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to breathe, you're going to connect with your body, you're going to ask yourself, where am I feeling this? What is this feeling telling me? Emotions are the language of the body. You can find a lot out about yourself through paying attention to your emotions, thinking about them, and like bringing wisdom from them, because your emotions tell you things, okay? There's a reason why your cycle keeps repeating, and you need to start listening. If you're in a cycle right now of a pattern you want to get rid of or a habit you need to get rid of, listen to your body. That is the answer, okay? The answer is not in the persons you're with. The answer is not in another person's advice. The answer is within yourself. And you need to look within yourself to figure out, where am I feeling these feelings? What are they telling me? Why may I be feeling this way? where is this stemming from? Where is this coming from? And it's uncomfortable. It is not going to be fun. It is not going to be fun to sit on your bed like I was last night, feeling your heart drop to the mattress or the floor, whatever you're laying on, feeling like you can't even get up because of how heavy it is. And it feels like your heart is being pushed against your chest, literally soaking into the bed below you. And you're going to literally be like, I need to turn on TikTok. I need to go on the TV. Relax. I want you to breathe. And I just want you to visualize, where am I feeling this? What is it feeling like? And if I were to follow this emotion and this feeling, how would it feel? Would it get tighter? Would it get more constricting? Would it feel more freeing if I rode out this ride? And another TikTok I saw the other day was so good about an emotional roller coaster where you're putting on that belt, you're going down and up and down and up and down and up. And that's a breakup, right? You're going all through these motions, sadness, anger, everything. Feel it all. Go on the ride. I have a tendency to be empathetic towards others when I'm in my own healing journey and ignoring my own feelings for the sake of thinking about theirs. And they may get in that emotional roller coaster months down the line, and it may hurt you to see them move on first thing at a breakup or even later on. But if they never deal with those emotions, they're still going to keep running to the same patterns. But regardless, I don't want you to be thinking of your ex, because his healing journey doesn't matter. Her healing journey doesn't matter. What matters is yours. What matters is what you're doing. And you are riding that emotional roller coaster through every single little inch, every single little ridge, every single little bit. And you are going to eventually get to the end of the ride, take the bar off of your body, and be released into a more fulfilling life that is going to bring you so much farther in your life, because you went through these emotions and you dealt with it, and you took things from it, right? It takes two to tango. Where can you take accountability in this relationship? Whether it's accepting the behavior, whether it's reacting toxically sometimes, whether it's not being vulnerable with the person, where can you take accountability, and how can you learn from it and not take this into your next relationship? Because things that are not healed will bleed into your future. It will bleed into other people, and then you'll be in another scenario where someone's either bleeding all into you or you're bleeding all over them, and they're like, what the fuck, dude? Why didn't you deal with this trauma when it happened? Or can we maturely deal with this trauma right now? And you need to know that, okay, now's the time I finally have to deal with it. And it shouldn't have to take another relationship that you fuck up or that somebody else fucks up for you to be like, okay, now I gotta break the pattern. But it may happen. But you have to realize you don't want to keep fucking other people up too. And if you're the one who got fucked over, you don't want to keep dealing with that shit. You don't want to keep attracting people that are constantly projecting their anxiety, their anger, their trauma all onto you, because their past that they wouldn't fix is now your problem. And that's not fun. And it's no fun being the person that's also putting it on another person. That was a lot. Okay. Whew. Stop betting on change. People are not going to change unless they want to change. And you are not going to be the person that they will change for. And you don't want to be the person they change for. And I know a lot of times you're like, I don't get it. Like, they can't just change for me. They don't love me enough to change for me. It's not about if they love you or not. It's about if they love their self enough to do it for themselves. It's about if they're even ready to dive into all of their trauma that eats away at them every day in little ways, but they have no idea that's the actual thing that's eating away at them. They may be so uncomfortable with doing that. It has nothing to do with the amount of love they have for you, or if they like you or not, or if they wanted to, they would. It has nothing to do with that. It literally has nothing to do with that. It has to do with themselves. People will not change unless they desire it within themselves. And if they do change down the line, that has nothing to do with you really, because you're not in their life anymore, and it doesn't really matter. And if you're one of those people that hopes your ex is for the best like me, if that person changes, or if other people that I've left change, I am happy for them, but it doesn't mean I want to be in their life dealing with it with them anymore, because I gave them their chance. I gave them years of my time in my life, or months of my time, and I'm not here to keep being that person's only sole emotional support, or the person they just project everything out onto because they won't seek out emotional support. That's just how it is. I want to read you guys what I wrote the other day, and it is very near and dear to my heart. I chipped my tooth writing it because I read it to Adriana and smacked the iPad on myself when I finished. So you better listen to it, because I broke my tooth for this. I'm joking, it's actually really good. Okay, here we go. It's called I Stopped Painting My Toenails, and it's on my website, swoleshady.com, and I have a whole bunch of my hands are so dry, oh my god. I have a whole bunch of blog posts and poems. So here we go. Ready? I stopped painting my toenails recently for the first time in a while, and it's teaching me something. I've always kept nail polish on my toes because I didn't like the way my feet looked without it. Recently, I acknowledged this insecurity, so I took the nail polish off and forced myself to stay with my toes unpainted and seen by others until I felt confident. When my friends and I would talk about little things we wanted in a man, I would say, I kind of want to have a man who isn't grossed out by feet. I want him to like feet. He doesn't have to have a foot fetish, but I need him to be unbothered by feet. I wanted a guy that liked feet because I needed him to validate my feet for me, because I couldn't myself. I didn't like my feet all that much, so I needed him to like something that I didn't like about myself, to be unbothered by something I was bothered by. So yeah, it's kind of a weird niche little comment that I said to my friends, where I'm like, I kind of want a guy who likes feet a little bit, or like, not that he likes feet, but he's unbothered by it. And that's kind of like such a random particular thing for somebody to say, but it really truly was just me being like, my feet kind of bother me. I have very normal feet. I don't know why they bother me. They don't anymore, but I only like them with nail polish on, and I think a lot of girls can relate to this, where like seeing your nails bare, you're almost like, what the fuck? Like, I need to put nail polish on it, right? It's like this weird beauty standard you feel like you have to keep up with, and so this is what I'm referring to. Back to the article. Back to the blog posts. I know what you're thinking. Really, Allie? Feet? Who cares if you're insecure about your feet? But it's not about feet. You know those moments when you're insecure about something and you want people to know you're insecure about that thing, so you point it out as if telling them will show them yeah, I'm aware of it. As if announcing your awareness of your own self-deprecation is supposed to make them think, well, at least she knows it. As if saying, yeah, I know I look crazy in this dress, makes you feel less crazy in that dress. When it doesn't, you still feel insecure. You think, if my significant other, the person who is supposed to be the one who finds me most attractive, likes my feet, or this dress, or my new haircut, I can have cute feet. Or this dress can be pretty, or this haircut is a good one. The validity of your appearance or your personality lies in the other person's hands. The validation you search for in little tiny ways, even as little as the toes of your feet, are part of a bigger picture. So where does the hope to find validation for the things you believe you cannot fulfill yourself come into the dating life? I just got out of a breakup, and I've been thinking back to what got me into the relationship in the first place, and what made me stay so long till I realized I deserved more and needed to move on. Sometimes I feel like I'm still that little girl watching a princess movie, waiting for the prince to sweep her off her feet and complete her life, complete her path, complete my path. For me, if I had a significant other, it meant stability. It meant I finally found my way. I did what I was put on this earth to do. Find a man. I searched and I found him, and now I'm going to put the one, or my person, on a post-it note and stick it to his forehead and walk around showing everyone I did it. I made my path valid, and I had a relationship to show for it. But when I stuck that post-it note on their head, I was signing up for abandoning my own needs for the sake of convincing myself that my path was valid. I would put up with anything from that point on and convince myself that if I kept putting in the work, this would work, because I need it to work. I can't go back to square one. Being single, I thought. I've worked so hard for this. I've been through enough with guys. This has to be the one. There's no way I meant to put up with more. I will have to do this whole thing over again, I thought. The day I got the title of being someone else's girlfriend, for the first time, I felt like I was able to catch my breath. Like I was waiting on the side of the street with the rest of the Disney princesses, waving my hand at the carriages passing by, yearning for a prince to want me as their endgame so I didn't have to be the last one waiting on the street. I did what everyone tells you to do every holiday party when they say, have you found anyone yet? Are you talking to any boys yet? It makes you constantly think, should I be searching for them more? Am I not looking in the right places? Am I not looking enough? I'm 22. Should I have already found someone by now? The same way people ask, have you lost your virginity yet? As if it's something that needs to be lost. Or what about the, don't worry, your person is out there, as a line we use to comfort people. It makes you think, should I be worried? Is that why I worry in the first place? Because people make me feel like I should be worrying if that special someone hasn't come along yet? It starts to create an illusion that everything about life will make sense when that person comes along and you just need to go out and find them. If you're not on dating apps and you're going out every weekend, you're deterring men. If you are particular with types of men you kiss or let into your life, you are too picky. If you haven't kissed anyone in a while, you should be getting out there more. Society makes us feel like we were put on this earth to find another person, and once you do, your path will be considered valid. This happens with jobs too. That career we spend all our time schooling and parents' money trying to chase, as if a job where a person is supposed to complete us, make us who we are, and if we haven't found that yet, we should be worried. You graduate college and you are expected to get onto the right career path, and if you don't, you wasted a degree. Or if you get out of a relationship, you put so much time into it, you think you wasted your time. But what if there are multiple jobs that make you feel fulfilled? Or there are no jobs that make you feel fulfilled? What if the ways in which we choose to live a fulfilling life is not a textbook career path? And what if no amount of attention will ever make you feel validated, and no amount of love from another person will fill up the holes in you made by the lack of love you give yourself? What if the answers to meeting all of our personal needs lies in our own bodies, not in the physical achievements we have to put in our resume or in the person we choose to say I do to? What if we were just put on this earth to accept ourselves in all forms, work every day to meet our own needs, and figure out ways we can complete ourselves without the presence of another person, a calling to ourselves to just be? And that's where my timeline mindset stems from. The spiraling out of control thoughts that I need to know what my future holds, that I need to be fully in control of the next pivotal part of my life. It sounds like worrying about leaving college without finding the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, because that's how so-and-so found their husband. Or when I worried so much that I was going to be losing my virginity too late in life. But the timeline doesn't really matter at all, and what does too late even mean? What does too early even mean? This perception of time and what needs to get done and what path we should be on at this age doesn't help us get any further along on it. My dad always says it's about the journey, not the destination. We can get so fixated on the prince that's going to sweep us up, the person who's going to walk into our lives and magically reciprocate the love we give, or reach a job after years of schooling and magically expect to be fulfilled every day past that. But it's not about your end person or your longest lasting career path. What if life's about all the jobs in between where you got paid minimum wage, but you made friends and learned what hard work was along the way? Or not about the person you marry, but all the ones in between that taught you what strength was and where your worth lied? The ones you poured into that couldn't pour into you back until you realized it's time you started filling your own bucket. What if we weren't always working towards taking the right path, but rather creating our own path as we go, allowing it to crumble and rise and get patched up as we find our way? And instead of looking forward or behind us, we just look down at the bricks we're standing on below us, grateful for where we have gotten ourselves, proud of all the roads we've gone down, content with our current state of life, and not ruminating in the past and future. So when I realized I wasn't getting love the way I needed, I had to understand that the relationship in front of me was not the relationship I envisioned it to be. I was hit with a wrath of reality. I was overcome by shame and anger that I allowed myself to accept this for so long. I was grieving the life I made up in my head and all the bare minimum moments I romanticized so I can hide my heart from the fact that none of this was truly enough for me. As I sit with these thoughts, I'm understanding that this journey really is not about the destination and who I end up with. So I get off the carriage and I walk back to my own home. I look down at my feet and realize my body, the home that has always been able to provide me with what I need to be fulfilled, is complete and whole without the prince. So I take the polish off and smile. I didn't need polish to make my feet feel pretty. I didn't need a prince to make me feel whole. So yeah, a little bit of silence for you guys. But at the end of the day, I'm going to wrap this all up with you do not need another person to make you feel complete. And if you feel lonely, it's because you are lacking yourself. You being lonely is a calling that you need more of yourself right now. I don't want you to take loneliness and this lack of intimacy and this lack of attention to be the thing that is eating you alive and you feeling like you cannot survive without it when you know damn well you can. You need to give it to yourself, and you need to realize you do have the tools and the mindset to give it to yourself. You have these things within yourself. You just need to work on giving yourself it when you need it, and knowing when you need it all has to do with connecting with your body and understanding how these things manifest within you. So yeah, that is all I'm going to say for today. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Please follow us on TikTok, BCD, Allie and Adri. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. My fitness accounts are miss_swole_shady. My business account is Swole Shady Inc. INC. Please join the Muscle Mommy Empire with us by unleashing your inner confidence, your inner muscle mommy, by following those Instagrams, following us along on our journey, subscribing to this podcast, and shop swoleshady.com. The promo code for 15% off is BCD Swole, all caps. Okay, guys, love you. See you next Tuesday. And if you want to watch my other Guide to a Breakup Part 1, Season 2, Episode 13. All right, bye, guys.